Greetings, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Act Your Wage. For the month of January, I have been doing New Year's resolutions. The top 5 that I have found from doing my own data and research. So the first week I did falling in love or finding new love. Um, the following week after that, I did, a show about losing weight and weight loss and exercising and taking care of yourself. But now comes into play saving money. A lot of us make that resolution of saving money, or maybe it's a goal of yours for this year going into 2021. I will say a lot of us, when you say saving money, we think that is impossible, especially during these times with the virus, and a lot of us are not working. However, when things go back to what we consider normal and you do go back to work and you do decide you want to save money, why not have some kind of plan in place to do that? I think I'm going to start back with myself because today I don't have a guest. So I'm going to start back with myself. When my kids were younger and I was working multiple jobs, at one time I had 3 jobs. And I would tell people I had a job for each child. Yes, I was a working woman. However, when individuals would tell me that I needed to save money, that wasn't even in my brain at the time. My brain was in survival mode. That meaning I needed to provide for my children a safe place to live, food, the essentials that they need in their growing up. And that was the only thing I was concerned about at that time. Because at that time I was living from check to check, and a lot of us still are living from check to check. But it's going to come a time in your life that you're going to have to buckle down and save money. So the first thing I would say about saving money when you're living from check to check, you have to find the right plan that works for you. I ran into a lot of different people and they had different methods of saving money, from using coupons to different things of that nature. For me, I'm not a coupon person. I'm not finna sit up and cut all those coupons out and go to the store standing. That's just not me. My mom was like that, Lord bless her heart. And I think I'm traumatized from that because she would hold a line up forever to find a coupon for something that was maybe 20% off. And at the time I'm thinking, well, you just paid a little difference, but that little change over time adds up, and that could be a savings. But I thought I would talk about why it is important to save money. I think it's important to have what a lot of us call a rainy day stash. You get into emergency. Let me just use an example of the car breaking down. Of your car breaking down and you don't have any money put to the side to fix your car. So then you're stuck with your car broke down. You're living from check to check. How are you going to repair your car? What's going to happen, you're going to rob Peter to pay Paul, as we would say. You're going to take money from other areas that you really can't afford, like maybe your light bill or water bill or whatever, to fix your car. But in the meantime, you still got these other bills. You already living from check to check, and before you know, you're in a hole. However, if you had planned to save some money for that kind of emergency, you could have saved yourself a whole lot of trouble. So that's what I want to talk about today. And another important reason that you should save money is, especially if you're trying to not create new debt, it's always good to pay cash for things if it's feasible for you. But you can't do that until you start saving your money. Because, like I said before, a lot of us are not in a position where we can just walk up to a dealership and just pay cash for a car, or go to purchase a home and just pay cash for it. A lot of us are not in that position. And I understand that, but it's going to come a time that you're going to have to change your mindset and put yourself in that position. And then another important factor about saving money too is it reduces your stress. I'll go back to the situation with the broken down car. When you can't get your car fixed, and then, like I said, you rob Peter to pay Paul to fix your car, then you're stressed out because now that you have your car running, you have to now figure out how you're going to pay those neglected bills that you left behind. So you're stressed out. Not only that, and if you have children, that just compiles on top of that. So I think at some point in your life, you have to just make sacrifices and start saving. And I think learning to save money should start at an early age. But for a lot of us, unfortunately, it didn't. And once again, I will use myself for an example. I was not taught how to save money as a young person. My mom was working, but she was in survival mode. Yes, I had a piggy bank. Yes, I was told to put change in it, but it was never explained to me in detail. Let me put it like that. So I'm saying this to say, even though I had that piggy bank, even though my mom was saying to me, hey, Nikki, put $1 in there or put part of your allowance in there, it was never explained to me why. And if I did put money in there when she got herself in a hole where, maybe she couldn't pay all of the light bill, water bill, whatever, okay, she would go to my piggy bank and take the money out, which is fine. But at the same time, I'm looking at you, but I'm not knowing, I'm not understanding at the time why she's doing what she was doing, but now I do. So now I feel it's important that we teach our children how to save money, but we also need to learn ourselves. And I don't care how old you are. I'm not going to say my age. I'm old enough that I figured out that at some point you have to learn to save money, and you have to teach your children. Now, I will say with my children, I did show them, ways that they could save money, put money in IRAs and, different investments and things of that nature. But I'm not going to go there today. I just want a simple way that people can begin to learn to save money, because that's important. I recently took a class, and in that class, this lady talked about how her dad would give them an allowance. And at that time, the lady used an example of $5. I'm sorry. She used an example of $5. So she said that her dad would make them be accountable for anything that they purchase. If they can't account for where they spent the money, then they was not allowed to get allowance the following week. So out of that $5, they bought $2 worth of candy. Okay, fine. The other $3 you're gonna put up, but you're gonna be accountable for those $2 that you spent. And I think that mindset is valuable going forward when you're looking to save money. Make yourself accountable for your purchases. Make yourself accountable for the things that you're purchasing. And of course, I read some articles, and in those articles, they talk about when you're getting ready to save money, that you should save 20% of your income should go towards your savings. 50% should go towards your necessities, and the other 30% is for discretionary things, and that's nothing, basically a fancy word for entertainment. Now, a lot of us, like I said, that's living from check to check, 95% of that money is going to necessities. We really don't have that 20% over here, or that 50% over there, or that 30% to give. And I'm not going to even talk about entertainment. Our entertainment comes in from watching a movie at home or something to that nature, because you really can't afford to go out. But you know what some of us would do? We'll take whatever money we have and go out there and spend it just to go out knowing you really can't afford it. So, I mean, the way that the experts want you to save money is fine and dandy when you're in a financial position to do that. But if not, you have to come up with creative ways to save money. And, this is just my opinion. I'm not a millionaire. All these things that I'm saying to you are fairly new to me. I'm self-disciplining myself now to do things differently that I've done before. My kids are all grown now, so I don't have that stress of raising kids and making sure that they have their necessities on top of mine and this and that. I don't have that stress anymore. I jotted down some things that I did for myself when I decided to save money. The first thing I did was I wrote down everything in my household, my bills, what my money was going out. Then once I wrote down all of my expenses, my household expenses, the next thing I did, I had to determine my needs versus my wants. Some of us put our wants before our needs. So when I analyze my bill, and I'm just going to use one part of it, cable. At one time, I was spending $230 a month for my cable bill slash Wi-Fi internet bill. But if you critically think about that, why in the world would I be paying $230 for a cable bill just so I could come home, turn the TV on, and go to sleep? Because I don't even really watch TV. At one time when my children were home, yes, I kept cable because I felt like my kids were what they would call, they call those kids that come home from school and they're there by themselves. So I felt like they needed some type of entertainment. So yes, I paid it. But when I was determining, where can I pull back to save money, that was just one of the things that I pulled out of was the cable bill. It was $230 a month. I really couldn't afford that. But if you calculate $230 times 12, that comes to $2,760 that I could have been putting up in the savings account. And then if you times that times a year, that's a lot of money just so I can watch TV, which is ridiculous. But nowadays they have different methods that you can watch TV that you don't have to spend that much. But I'm just going by my household. The other thing that I felt like was wasted money was paying for cable, $230. Then I'm paying for what they call it, Netflix, and just all these range of stuff. I don't even watch Netflix. I don't even watch. I'm too tired. Like I said, I'm not really a TV watcher. I try to watch TV, but to me that was a waste of money. I could use that money to do other things. And so therein lies that. The next thing on my list of to get rid of, I am a shopper. I love clothes. I love shoes. Oh, I love to buy these expensive wigs. I love all of them things. But that's just me. But I had to figure out a way to cut back. I was spending maybe, I don't know, which is probably cheap, but $300 to $400 maybe every 2 weeks and buying things that I didn't even need. If I'm going somewhere, I would go out and buy a whole new outfit, shoes, purse, everything brand new. When I had things in my closet that I probably could, that I could wear, but I was wasting money. I'm like, I don't want to wear the same things twice. Well, when you're saving money, sometimes that's things you got to sacrifice. But that was a dysfunctional way of thinking. And that's me not acting my wage. I'm not saying you got to go out there and be, all, raggedy looking. No, I'm just saying I didn't need a new outfit each and every time somebody called me up and said, girl, I'm having a birthday party. I got to go get a new outfit. Hell, it ain't my birthday. Why was I going out spending money that I didn't have to look good at somebody else's birthday party? It didn't make sense when I had things in my closet that I can wear. And we're not going to even talk about the shoes. It was so bad at one point that I was shopping, buying the same shirt maybe 3 or 4 times, which is ridiculous, at maybe $30, $40 a pop. Ridiculous. That's money that I could have saved and did something else with. Um, Another way that you can also save money too is figuring out your habits. Because a lot of us have a lot of bad habits. And once again, I would use myself for an example, eating out. You know, in this day and age, we want everything quick and fast. We don't want to take that time to just sit down, cook a meal, meal prep where you can take your lunch and, save that money. No, I was spending maybe, I don't know, if you stop at, I don't know, a McDonald's, let's say. If you buy a combo meal, I'm saying you're going to spend at least $8, $9. Maybe I had breakfast before then somewhere else. That's another $8, $9. We'll say $9. So you're up to $18. And I haven't even eaten dinner yet. So by the time I get to work, guess what? I'm spending another $9. And one day I'll spend $30 eating out when I could have took that same $30 and went to the grocery store. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. So that was a bad habit of mine. Oh, I don't feel like cooking. I'm just going to stop here and get this. After a while, that stopping here and there adds up. And you're going to see it in your finances. Another thing you should do going forward is also write down, keep all your receipts. I started that way. Every time I brought something, I kept a receipt. So if I went to 10 stores in a day, I had all the receipts. When I got back home, I looked at each of the receipts, added up how much money I spent in a day. This is my beginning stages to see where exactly was I spending all of my money. Where was my money going? But those bad habits, shopping, like I said, that was another bad habit. Need versus wants. Bad habits. Some of us, we smoke cigarettes. I was just astonished at one pack of cigarettes was like $8, I think. I don't smoke, but yeah, one pack of cigarettes is like $8. And I'm thinking to myself, for the poor soul that smokes, I don't know, 2 to 3 packs a day, that's a lot of money on some cigarettes. That's just a bad habit. Drinking, well, I must say at one time I was drinking and partying and wasting money. It's just a waste. If you're going to do those things, I would suggest set yourself a budget. Say, okay, I got, I don't know, $20 for cigarettes this week. I have only, I don't know, $9 to eat out this week. A new outfit, I'm going to set aside maybe, I don't know, $75 for a new outfit. That would include shoes and all. And that's it. I'm not spending any more. That's it. That's all you're going to have. It can be per week. It could be per month. But that's how you can start. I'm not saying drop these things cold turkey, but I'm just giving you ways that you can at least start to save your money. So when you do that and you come up with a budget, you see, first you find out where your money is going. Then once you figure out where your money is going, then you're going to decipher your needs versus your wants. Then you're going to point out those bad habits. Then you can kind of see, okay, I can cut back here, I can cut back there. And when you're cutting back that money, save it, put it up somewhere. And I would say start out small, as I'm instructing you to, because that's what I did and it worked for me. The next thing I did was, once I started to save those receipts and I started to see, okay, I'm spending money over here, I can save this, I have these bad habits, I need to stop doing this, and and like I said, I was a drinker. I did spend a lot of money going out partying at one time in my life. I did. It was kind of like my kids are grown and gone. Hey, let's go. Like one year for my birthday, I spent an excessive amount of money that I really couldn't afford. I mean, I had a good time. It was all fine and dandy while the party was going on. But when that Monday came and hey, them bills came due, I was like in that hole once again. So I think that was a reality check for me after I had that party and I had to dig myself out of that hole. But now I know to set myself a budget and I will not go over that budget. And you can use that same concept when you go grocery shopping. Set yourself a budget. I'm not, for me in my household, when my kids were there, I said, I'm not spending over, I don't know, $300 a month in groceries. And I would tell my kids, if y'all eat up all this food, then I don't know what to tell you till the next month, But that was my attitude. But eventually they learned because I didn't back down. I was not spending over that amount of money because I'm trying to save and also trying to maintain a household without going crazy because that financial stress, honey, you will have a stroke, heart attack, headaches. I mean, it was bad for me at one time. My blood pressure was high. My hair started falling out. It is bad. But I just thank God, even though in my mind I knew that I was only one paycheck from being homeless, that was a mindset I had to keep. Right now, I remember at one time the struggle was real, very real for me. I still struggle from day to day. Don't get it twisted. I'm not rich. But I remember I went to the Goodwill, and a long time ago they had these black and white TVs. I think this TV was like a 13-inch. That's just how small, maybe 13, I don't know. It may have been bigger or smaller, whatever, but it was a small TV and it was black and white. That's all I had to watch day for day. That's all my kids and I would look at was that little TV. So as time went on and I began to grow financially, to keep myself humble, I kept that TV and I kept it on the bar where I could see it. And that was an indication for me to never remember where you came from because you can go back there at any time. I may have been living from check to check, but at the same time, I kept that TV in my vision. And I'm saying that when you do start to grow and you do start to get money, don't ever forget that rabbit hole that you came out of because you could easily go right back. So keep yourself focused. Keep your mentality on saving money, of achieving your goals, your financial goals. You're going to get knocked down. Once again, it's not going to be easy, especially when you're in the habit of spending money that you don't have. I mean, I was an overdraft queen at one time. It was nothing for me to overdraft my account. I didn't care as long as my bills were paid and I could go out and buy these shoes that I wanted, which is reckless. But I mean, I thought about how much those $35 was I giving to the bank. I mean, my overdraft fees were so horrible at one time. I was spending $200 to $300 in overdraft fees. Ridiculous. Then when your paycheck go in, it's going to take half your check. And I mean, it's just a vicious cycle. It was a vicious cycle for me that I got out of. And I'm saying to you right now, you can get out of it too. Those overdraft fees, it's not even worth it. And these banks that tell you, oh, we can get you a loan, we'll just overdraft your account by $700 or whatever. And you thinking that $700 looking good right now because I'm broke and I need some money. You're not looking at the interest they tacking on. You're not looking at the fact that they done screwed up your bank account to give you this $700. So you take that $700. Out of that $700, you're going to spend, I don't know, maybe $200 in overdraft fees because they done screwed up your account. Then you're only going to have like $500 on that $500. Maybe your bills are $500. So you're really still in the same hole that you started with. Your bills are paid, but you're still in the same hole. But that's why I'm saying to you that it takes a mindset. You have to change the way you think about money. Change the way that you feel like you have to have these things. You gotta have this car note for this car. That hell, you can't even put gas in it. Your note $600, $700. You can't afford. You may be in a position that you can't afford that. That's the point. Some of us are in a position that we can pay that kind of note. I know I'm not. And to be honest with you, if I was in a position to pay that kind of note, I still wouldn't pay it. I don't need all that fancy car. I need a car that can start up and get me from point A to point B. Now, I will say recently I just purchased a car, and it's an inexpensive car. I'm saying, I mean, but it's a car that I always wanted. And this is, I'm almost 50 now. But a lot of us do this in our younger age when we got kids to raise, we got bills to pay, and things of that nature. I had to wait till I was almost 50 to get my dream car. But I'm saying this to say, you will be able to get the things that you want in time. But right now, we need to learn how to save money. We need to break that generational curse of, our children not knowing how to save. I mean, I feel like that is so important going through life. Because if you don't learn how to save and you don't teach your children how to save, guess what? You're going to be that parent that's paying your children's bills because they don't know how to financially take care of things. You haven't took the time to teach them, and it's not that you're being a neglective parent, it's because you weren't taught yourself. So it's your responsibility at this point to teach yourself or get with some people that can teach you how to save money and how to become financially stable. I run into so many people that I'm speaking before the coronavirus. They're getting evicted from their apartment, or their home is going in foreclosure, when all of that could have been avoided if, one, you would live within your means or live below your means. What do I mean when I say live below your means? You might can afford to pay $230 in cable, but why would you? No, I'm gonna go get that Fire Stick or whatever that thing is, and I'm cheap. I don't want nothing. Just turn the TV on. If whatever comes on the TV, fine with me. I don't care. It's too much internet. I can go on my phone and pull up any show that I want to watch. So I'm that person. But why spend that money when you know you really can't afford it? And I was that person. Like I said, I was spending that money on that cable bill. Didn't need it. Spending that money on that Netflix stuff. Never watched it. It's crazy. So I digress to the importance of saving money. And also, you have to have discipline to save money. Because once you've been so reckless for so long, it's hard. Once you pick up, I would say reckless, but once you have bad habits in spending money, it is hard to change those habits. I struggle because I was that person, baby. Like I said, I wanted a new outfit. I wanted new shoes. I wanted the purse. I wanted some new hair instead of wearing my natural hair, but that's a topic for another day. I just had to have it. And if I didn't have all those things, guess what? I wasn't going to show up. And I would use another way that I felt I was wasting money too. And you may be that person just like me, the woman just like me. Makeup. I have makeup for days. I mean, that was another thing I would buy. Didn't wear it every day. Why did I need all this makeup? I only go out at this time every blue moon if somebody called me and they're having something, and I might go. But then I started paying other people to do my makeup. And I have makeup at home. That's a waste of money. I could save that money to do something else with. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Get you a budget. Allot yourself so much for each thing that you have to do, your necessities in your home, and not only the necessities, also your habits. Just create you a budget. And if you run out of those things, you have to be disciplined enough to say, okay, well, I done already spent my budget on that, so I'm going to have to wait until I'm allotted that money again. You can't go on and say, well, I'm just going to go ahead and buy this anyway. Then you're defeating the purpose. It's discipline. It's not going to happen the first time, maybe not the second time, or maybe not even the third time when you try. But my point is, if you fail, just keep doing it until you get it right. Practice doesn't make permanent. Practice makes you better. And I learned that from one of my teachers in school. And I use that analogy to this day. I read this quote, and it said that he who buys what he does not need steals from himself. Now take a minute and think about that. And the author, it just said a Swedish proverb. I'll read that again. He who buys what he does not need steals from himself. And I had to critically think about that. So while you out there buying this stuff that you don't need, you're taking away from things that you're taking away money that can go into other areas of your life that you can see where your money is going. Another quote that I read, this one said that don't tell me what you value. Show me your budget and I'll tell you what you value. And they said that was written by Joe Biden. But I'm going to be honest. The first time I heard something similar to that was from my pastor. He said that if you show me your checkbook, I can show you where your heart is, which is the same concept. Saying that to say, you can just, like I said, with the receipts, you can kind of see where you're spending your money. You can see what you value the most. Where is the buck of your money going? So saying that to say, we all got bad habits. We all do things that we know we shouldn't do with those bad habits, but we can change. Change comes with changing your mental thought process. So like I said, practice makes better, not perfect. So you can start there. Those are some of the things that I did to save money. Next thing I would say to those out there who may be per se living from check to check, you may, living from check to check and you don't really have the thought of saving money in your brain. You can come up with creative ways to save money. I read in this article that I still have in my phone. When I say creative ways, I mean, you may not be at a financial place that you can take 20% of your income here, 30% of your income there, and 50%. You may not be that person. But like I said, you still can save money in other ways that are feasible to fit your financial situation. The point is you have to start. Once you start, everything else is going to fall into play. Oh yeah, this article, it gave you ways to save money, but they were creative ways. And I found those ways to work better for those individuals that I described that's living from check to save money. The first one that they wrote about, or the first one that I found interesting that I'm doing myself right now, is they call it Weather Wednesday. This article was written by Kirby Beaton. It just says BuzzFeed staff. And the title of the article is 11 Money Saving Challenges That Might Actually Work. So I jotted down 3 of them that I found interesting, and maybe you can try this. The first one I said was the Weather Wednesday. So this is how this challenge works. On Wednesday, pick out the highest temperature, and then you save that amount. So that, every Wednesday you would check your weather reports. I don't know how you get your news. It may be TV. It may be via internet. So every Wednesday you check the weather, and whichever one is the highest, you take that money and you put it up. So here in Texas, I said by the time I get to July, I'm going to be crying because when it's 100 some odd degrees, that's money I'm put up. But at the same time, I'm saving money. So that's something you can do creative. Right now, the temperature isn't that bad. It's like, 30, 40 degrees sometimes. You can put that money up, and you may not do it every week. It may be every 2 weeks. Just do it where it can fit your budget. But the main goal is to save that money and don't touch it. I would say get you maybe a lockbox or somewhere in an envelope. And every Wednesday, when you put that money in that envelope, put a date on it. Stick it in that box. let's challenge ourselves maybe for a whole year. For me, I'm going to do it all the way up until January of 2022, and just to see how much money I'm going to save. Okay, so that's one way. The next thing I found interesting in that same article was the 100 envelope challenge. A lot of people said that they had saved up to 5,000 in a year. That was a good thing. Well, for somebody like myself that at one time I couldn't save $5. But anyway, I digress. How that works is you get 100 envelopes and you label the front of the envelopes with the numbers 1 to 100. Each week, you will pick 2 random envelopes, and whatever is written on an envelope, you put the money inside. I mean, that's easy. You could do that. Same concept. Get those envelopes. You don't have to do it each week. Maybe you can do it every 2 weeks or however you get paid. Like I said, I'm talking to those people that may be living from check to check. However you get paid, maybe 2 weeks. So if you get paid every 2 weeks, hey, why not pick 2 envelopes every 2 weeks, fill them full of that money. Like I said, get you some kind of box, lock box, or some area in your home that you could put those envelopes in and put them somewhere where they're not in your vision. Because if you're like me, I see that money over there and I'm thinking, ooh, I sure can go get me some shoes with that money. And then there you go over there picking up that box, spending the money. So put it up somewhere where you can't see it. I put mine in the back of my closet. In the back of all those shoes that I don't need. Where I visually, I can't see it. I know it's there. I don't see it. So day for day, I don't think about it because it's not in my sight. As people would say, out of sight, out of mind. So that's another way you can save money. The third one that I picked was the receipt challenge. Now, I just talked about how when you're out shopping or whatever, you keep your receipts and you determine, how much money you spent, and then you can determine where you spent the most money. However, this challenge requires you to actually look at the receipt. A lot of places you go now, you get the receipt, it'll say, oh, you saved $16. Well, this challenge says, if that receipt says you saved $16, you put $16 in an envelope somewhere and you put it up. Now, that can be challenging for someone like myself because I don't know how many stores I go in and the receipts are going to have that. 95% of the stores you shop at now, they're going to tell you how much you saved by shopping at their store. But that is another way you could save money. And most of the time, the amounts on those receipts are small. So if you don't have a whole lot of money to put up, hey, why not try that? That's starting out small. But your main goal is to save money. And whichever creative way that you can save money, I would say do it and do it for a whole year and see how much you can save. Once you begin to take on that mindset, it's going to become a habit. Once it becomes a habit, then you're going to feel totally different about your financial situation when you learn the art of saving money. Because if you can start off small, then you're going to work your way up to bigger ways of saving money. That is paying off your debt early. The other way that, individuals will recommend that you save money. But right now we're talking about these individuals, like I said, that's, struggling. And I understand with the coronavirus right now, people are not working and they can't save money. But even if you do something like this receipt challenge, hey, at some point you're going to buy some groceries. It's going to have that little amount on there. Hey, why not put that up? Or you're going to go somewhere and it's going to have that receipt challenge. It's going to have an amount on there that you can put up. And if you can't put up, say your receipt says $16 and maybe you don't have $16 to put up. Hey, maybe you got $8. You can still take 4 of those $8 and put it up. I mean, it's way once your mind is made up, and I like to thank TD Jakes for that. Once your mind is made up, you're going to figure out ways to save money, and you're going to be good at it. Because like I said, once you start to practice, then it becomes a habit for you, and that's a good habit. You want to keep that habit. And as far as the other bad habits of cigarette smoking and things, you might want to take that time to wean yourself from doing those bad habits anyway. They're not good for you anyway. Smoking cigarettes, you're spending a buck of money that you don't have. Drinking, you spend a bunch of your money on alcohol. Once you set a budget for it and you don't go over that budget, eventually your body is going to become in tune with that. And you're not going to want to go out and spend that money. You're like, no, I don't need that. You're going to figure out you don't need those things. And you really don't. Another way I found that was funny, that I don't know where I read this article, but it said you want to save money, park your car. You're going to save on gas. If you walking wherever you're going, hey, that's your exercise. So you done made two birds with one stone. You saving money from not driving your car. Then you getting that exercise from walking, because you're not using your vehicle. I mean, some of us, that's not feasible because we work, miles away from our job, and we work a long way. But I can remember my mom walking back and forth to work because she didn't drive. I had a coworker. He walked every day to work. And I remember one day he was walking and I stopped to pick him up. And I was like, come on, get in the car. I'll give you a ride. And he said, no, I'm not getting in the car. And I'm like, why? He said, I don't need a ride. I said, why not? It's hot. You out here walking. He said, no. And he opened up his shirt and showed me where he had I guess a heart attack or stroke. I can't remember. Anyway, he said, so now I walk everywhere I go. So he is one of the ones that fit that criteria of, hey, I'm going to park my car and walk. I can only imagine the money he saved over time and improved his health all in once. At first, I'm thinking, this man crazy. He don't walk. But now that I'm older and I think about it, yeah, he was smart. He was smart. And now he's getting ready to retire because that was back in the 90s. So he should be ready to retire. And I learned something from him. So when I read that online, he came into my mind because at that time, that's what he was doing. Then another way he was saving his money too. I learned from listening to people that's doing these things too. Another way that he was saving money was he was living, he had a roommate, but he was sending money to other places, building him a home at the time. But he was living in one town, taking care of his business, building his home in another town, but he was saving money all in the process. And this person was a RN, or maybe LVN, but he was a nurse. So, I mean, can you imagine the money he was saving? And now that he's getting ready to retire, I know he could. I know he should be fine. So with that being said, I hope that if you didn't get anything else from this episode, I hope that you at some point will learn how to save money. You will break that generational curse, if that's you, in families where we don't teach our children how to save money because our parents didn't teach us. Let's break that curse today. So if you can hear me, or you may be looking at me, we're going to break that curse today. We're going to break that curse. We're going to start saving money. We're going to be the visionary for our children. Not only the visionary, and then we're going to get educated, and then we're going to educate our kids. We're going to break that curse today. We're going to teach our kids how to save money. We're going to teach our kids the importance of educating yourself on things that maybe seem out of the norm for people. So when you get into financial things, I would tell anybody, position yourself around people that know how to walk the walk, and they can teach you how to walk the walk. It's okay if your parents or your mom or dad didn't teach you things. Okay, that's fine. But at some point, you can't keep using that for an excuse. You got to pick yourself up and learn how to do these things on your own. Because how else are you going to survive out here in the world? And these are things that I tell my children too. How are you going to survive? What if I was, and I hate to say it, what if I was to drop dead tomorrow? What are you going to do? You calling me every week. You want this, 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 and this, but you need to learn how to do those things on your own. That's why I said it's time to break that generational curse. Break those habits, or if you can't break those habits, up front, just over time. Create budgets for yourself. Create budgets for those habits. And eventually you're going to get rid of those bad habits. You want to start picking up good habits. And another thing I hope that you get from this podcast is picking a savings plan that works for you. Like I said, all of us are not in a position to put so many different percentages of money here and there. But like I said, you can get there over time. Take time to find a way to save money that works for you. You can choose one of the creative ways that I talked about today, or maybe you might find that article. It's 11 ways on there. You may be another way that fits you, but find what works for you. And once you do that, and once you do it for a year and you see how much money you save, you're going to feel so accomplished, because I did. I felt so accomplished at saving money. I still struggle from day to day. I still struggle. I still want to go out there and buy this new stuff. I still want, I like this, I like that, But I've learned that if I really don't, I have to, my self-talk, when I get ready to buy something that I know I really don't need, you have to ask yourself, do I really need that? Do I really need those shoes? Do I really need that purse? Do I really need the things that I'm buying? And that will, in time, you will have taught yourself how to save money. So with that being said, you can leave your comments, or maybe you have another creative way to save money. Please feel free to shoot me an email at Confessions with Nikki G. Don't forget the E in Nikki, at gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook. We can keep this conversation going, because let me tell you something. There's somebody right now that's listening to me, or you may be looking at me right now. They need this information. They need that push to save money, because at some point in your life, you're going to get tired of going around in circles. You're going to get tired of that. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. I don't know who Peter and Paul is. That's just what my mom used to tell me. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, you're going to get tired of that, and you're going to want to change. So I'm trying to give you that method of change. You could be that person that can help that person. It's all about motivation. It's all about uplifting someone. It's all about, you could be that person that could help somebody else. And that is why I do these podcasts. I want to help people. But you can possibly help somebody by going on my Facebook page and just leaving comments, or on my Instagram. You can go on there. Every episode, I always have a picture up, and I always have links that you can either listen to the show, or maybe you're a visual person, maybe you want to see the show. I mean, it's links there. So go there, leave your comments, tell me what you think about this subject. And like I said, maybe you have some creative ways that can help somebody. I would love to hear it. Let's talk.